We'll hear from John Westman's attorney tonight.
Also tonight, ICE operations continue across the country and here in the Valley, sparking fears over law enforcement using flock cameras to track people. Our Brett Rosen is breaking down the latest findings.
And a disabled man is injured in a hit and run, and now law enforcement is asking for your help to find those responsible. We'll have the latest out of Cathedral City.
And hot conditions continue through Friday this week. Well, more on that full forecast coming up. NBC Palm Springs at 6 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
And I'm Mark Mester. We start tonight as ICE operations are underway nationwide with a noticeable presence right here in the Valley. Now getting reports of an ICE detention that took place outside of the Food for Less in Indio today.
Our Alondra Campos is live out in front of the grocery store this evening. Alondra, what have you learned so far tonight?
That's right, Mark and Olivia. We're still here in the parking lot of the Food for Less grocery store in India, where not too long ago an individual was apparently detained in a matter of minutes. And now we did get receive several images come into the newsroom of the scene. And this is what witnesses tell us. The individual was coming out of the Food for Less grocery store on a regular grocery trip, started to load his groceries into the back of his car, which was a red Ford Fusion that is actually still parked in this parking lot just about 3 aisles over there, when about 4 different agents coming out of two unmarked vehicles, all with police with vests that said police on, some with their faces covered, quickly detained him and put him in the back of one of the cars and left. And now the groceries are still in the car, and like I've mentioned, the car is still parked. There's also a sticker, a Watercress sticker also on the front of the car, which could insinuate that he resides in the Watercress community, which is only about 2 or 3 minutes from here. And this is all according to what witnesses tell us. And now the identity of the individual has not been released. And we have been in contact with Indio Police Department about this case, and they can confirm that they are not aware of this targeted arrest, but that they are also not cooperating with ICE or any other federal agency on these types of arrests. And now the Todek Legal Center was out here, and their response team was out here today, a couple of hours just after the arrest, to basically assess the situation. And we spoke with them earlier about what people can do to report this type of activity.
So we started this rapid response now here at Todek Legal Center, our nonprofit, where if there's any kind of immigration activity here in the Valley, they are able to call it in. It's a 24/7 line, and the number is 951-388-2008. You could text the number, you can call us, and you could basically let us know that there's immigration activity happening here in the Valley. And then that way we can go ahead, we go check it out, and then we report it and we confirm it for you.
And now we've also reached out to several community leaders and city council members to ask them if they had any knowledge or awareness about this type of arrest, but they have not yet commented. And it's important to note that this was not part of a raid, but it was a targeted arrest, or I should better say targeted detainment on behalf of federal agents. And this is not the first we've seen here in the Coachella Valley. Just a couple weeks ago, we had someone else detained in Cathedral City near the Cardenas grocery store. And a couple months back, we had another individual of our community detained outside of a parking lot at the Walmart in Coachella. So this is not any new activity here by the presence of federal agents or ICE. And we are still developing details on this story. It is a developing story, and we'll have all the details as soon as we have them. So reporting live from Indio, I'm Alondra Campos. Back to you.
Alondra, thank you. And there are some concerns tonight about local law enforcement using license plate reader cameras in federal investigations. Some questioning the possibility of police helping with ICE investigations through those cameras. Our Brett Rosen joins us live in studio tonight. He spoke to local departments with more details on how this works. Brett?
Olivia, they are in almost every city in the Coachella Valley. And law officials say it's a state law that these license plate readers are not meant for any kind of investigation regarding immigration or deportation.
The protocol is we shut them off. They've made an agreement with us in order to be able to use our data that they don't share it with ICE.
This is what Chief Andy Mills and the Palm Springs Police Department say happens when their flock license plate cameras are used in immigration investigations. According to the Cal Matters article, Oakland Privacy is the organization that brought to light how they say law enforcement agencies use the terms investigation or criminal justice 64,000 times in the months of April and May. Terms like HSI are being linked to Homeland Security investigations. That's what sparked Oakland Privacy's concerns and has some people believing local law enforcement is working with immigration agencies. California gubernatorial candidate and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco says otherwise.
HS, health and safety, is what that stands for. So we do share information with all law enforcement partners when it comes to drug investigations, when it comes to homicide investigations or other interstate crime investigations or human trafficking investigations.
One local says he still does not understand the use of these flock license plate cameras. However, law enforcement officials say they rarely go a day without using them to solve crimes.
No idea what it's being used for. And I know that it's been collected for years.
One of the things I can tell you is they've been absolutely indispensable in us solving crimes after the fact on a regular basis.
It's a state policy under Senate Bill 34, which states how existing law prohibits the department from selling the data or from making the data available to an agency that is not a law enforcement agency or an individual that is not a law enforcement officer. And because of this policy, Andy Mills says there is someone always making sure nothing is being used in a wrong way under this rule.
We inspect our data every week. We have somebody go through it, make sure we're putting case numbers in, make sure that we're saying who that information is going to, so that we're very clear on the rules of engagement for us to be able to use this.
Now, the city of Coachella is the only city in the valley without these license reader cameras. They were denied in a city council meeting back in 2023. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department is looking to revisit this denial later this year. For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Brett Rosen.
All right, Brett, thanks for that live report. We appreciate that. Giving you a live look tonight from our Agua Caliente Casino camera high above downtown Palm Springs. We're going to send things over to Chloe Carlson, who's tracking our forecast for the middle part of the work week. Hey, Chloe.
Well, hey, Mark, yeah, hot one out there again today. 113 still in downtown Palm Springs. It has just been a very toasty week. Unfortunately, we do have those hot conditions continuing till the end of the week. But the good news is we're actually getting below average by the weekend. So just stay with us a couple more days and then we get back to just 100 degrees. Just what a cool down on the way. As far as winds go, 17 miles per hour from the northwest at this hour. We'll get to those winds more in just a second. Across the region, 109 on the other side of the 10 there in Thousand Palms, 104 for Desert Hot Springs, 90s up in the high desert and in the pass. Here's a look at those current wind gusts at this hour. Onshore flow with us. That will be something that will stay consistent this week. We're breezy right now for the wind corridor, but we will see those winds get a little bit gusty as we until the end of the week. We have this trough of low pressure of the Pacific Northwest. That'll start to affect our weather as we get into Friday and the weekend, cooling us down, but also giving us a little bit of those gusty winds. So keep that in mind. Extreme heat warning. This is going to continue through Thursday for portions of Southern California. Heat advisory for the IE, the Inland Empire, also going through the middle of this week. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 3-day forecast. So staying above 110 degrees through Friday, and then the cool down begins for the weekend. We'll break down more and expect in that full forecast coming up.
All right, Chloe, thank you for that. The Cathedral City Police Department needs your help tonight locating a vehicle that was involved in a hit and run. Officials say that a man in a wheelchair was hit by two cars while crossing the street. Police say the 68-year-old was struck around 3:30 this morning on Date Palm Drive, south of Gerald Ford. First driver in a white van took off while a second vehicle hit the man just moments later. The driver stayed on scene and is cooperating with investigators. The victim was rushed to Desert Regional Medical Center in critical condition, and now police are asking for help tracking down the hit-and-run driver. Investigators were able to locate surveillance footage of the outstanding minivan. It's believed the van is a 2011 to 2020 Toyota Sienna with front-end damage. Anyone with information is urged to contact the number you see right there on your screen.
86-year-old real estate developer John Westman was found not guilty on 9 counts of bribery, 1 count of conspiracy in the high-profile Palm Springs corruption case this week. Westman's attorney, Elliot Peters, says there were many red flags from the prosecution's standpoint as this case continued.
You know, I mean, I think you have a real ambitious DA in Riverside County. He wanted to be able to hold a press conference and say, I got the mayor and the rich developer. And he spent more time thinking about that than he did about the real merits of the case. I mean, it was originally a federal investigation, right? And the feds didn't do it. The feds didn't pursue it. They handed it off to the state. So maybe first red flag. Then we go to court and they indict Westman, and we get a judge to throw it out because there's too little evidence. And then they appeal that. Maybe that's the second red flag. Punier gets a promise of no jail time from the judge. Meany agrees to cooperate in exchange for a misdemeanor. And then they're just going to try the case against this guy who the judge already threw the case out against.
Now, we've reached out to the district attorney's office, and they say, in part, quote, our office respects the jury's not guilty verdict in the Westman case. We trust the judicial process and are grateful for the service and dedication of the jury members.
New at 6 o'clock tonight, a new highly transmissible COVID-19 variant is spreading quickly across the United States, just in time for peak travel season. The variant, nicknamed Nimbus, now accounts for over a third of COVID cases nationwide. The variant has since been reported in California, including right here in Riverside County. Health officials warn the unique symptoms, and they expect cases to keep rising in the weeks ahead.
Some people have called it razor blade throat. So we remember from previous variants, loss of taste and smell was really the predominant symptom. And now we're really seeing this severe throat pain. We are seeing the starts of a summer surge. It's very interesting for a respiratory virus to really have this summer surge. I think most of us are used to influenza or the flu virus, where, you know, we peak between October and March and then we sort of get a break. But yes, COVID's starting to see that. And as the temperatures rise in the Coachella Valley and we see people retreating indoors, congregating together in smaller spaces with less ventilation, that may be something to do with it.
Health experts say you can protect yourself and others from COVID-19 by testing when you have symptoms, isolating while sick, wearing a mask while indoors, and practicing social distancing.
Coming up next here on NBC Palm Springs, a former New Jersey senator is set to begin his 11-year prison sentence. We have the latest details coming up right after the break.
Also, it's Tuesday. Crypto Fitz is back. He's going to be sharing what he's learned after speaking with one of the leading voices in cryptocurrency at this year's Bitcoin Conference 2025.
And your gold and silver prices. Stay with us. Those headlines right after the break.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. NBC Palm Springs News. Even astronauts tune in for their news fix.
In some news across the country this evening today, Bob Menendez started his 11-year federal prison sentence for for bribery and corruption charges. An appeals court last week denied the 71-year-old's latest attempt to remain free on bail pending his appeal. Menendez was convicted last year of 16 felony counts for a long-running corruption scheme. He's the first U.S. senator charged and convicted of acting as an agent of a foreign government. Menendez was found guilty of taking cash, a Mercedes-Benz, and gold bars as bribes in exchange for helping 3 businessmen and the Egyptian government. Menendez served as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He reported to a medium security facility in Pennsylvania today.
And tonight, our Crypto Fits spoke to one of the leaders of cryptocurrency during Bitcoin Conference 2025. Here's a portion of that conversation.
We've got more coverage from Bitcoin Conference 2025 in Las Vegas, and one of the great crypto educators out there from the Daily Zest is Randy Hipper. Give us the simple answer. What is Bitcoin and why do we care?
Bitcoin is just the generational change of what money is. People my age and younger, they do not want to use physical money. They want digital money that they can carry with them wherever they go. People my age, they want a nomadic lifestyle. They want to travel the world. They need a money that's going to travel with them. We need censorship resistant money, cross-border money. So all Bitcoin really is digital money that you own and no one can take from you, unlike the traditional world that we live in, where we rely on centralized entities to not only hold our money, store it, and give us access, but also control how much it's valued.
The education aspect is so important, and so important the work that you do out there spreading the word, Randy. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks to Crypto Fits for that. Giving you a live look tonight from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Chloe Carlson tracking that hot forecast. Details when we come back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
And happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back. Right now, we're taking a live look at the Walter Clark Highway 11 cam in Rancho Mirage, a view that we are going to be seeing for a while. Those clear blue skies out there today. Calm winds in Rancho Mirage today. Light traffic there on the 111. Well, it bumped up 115 for the high today, so 11 degrees above average. That is a trend that is also going to continue at least through Friday, well above average conditions. But let's just enjoy the fact that we did not get close to that record-breaking number. I was here for this 2021, 123 degrees. I am manifesting, we say, out of the 120s for June this year. At this hour, 111 for Palm Springs, 108 in Yuma, 105 for Las Vegas. What a difference at the coast. There's 74 degrees, almost a 40-degree difference if you just drive 2 hours to the west of us. Overnight tonight will be in the low 80s, high 70s here on the desert floor, 70s up in the high desert. As far as winds go, mostly breezy for us this week. For the wind corridor, Thursday and Friday, those winds will get gusty again as that system from the north that I mentioned earlier, ushering in those cooler conditions, does also give us that onshore flow, so those winds will pick up a little bit as we get into the second half of our week. Dry conditions, for us. We'll see a little bit of that moisture hitting Nevada with that storm for us. We'll get the cooler conditions and those gusty winds, none of that moisture that will be moving in. So 5% for that relative humidity through Friday this week. Range of high pressure for our Wednesday will be inching its way closer to the coast, moving through Southern California Wednesday. That's why we see those temperatures peaking yet again, 112 to 116 tomorrow. By Thursday, it'll be to the east of us. We'll see those winds start to pick up as that system approaches, moving through the southwest as we get into Saturday. So a big change in temperatures from Friday to Saturday. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Above 110 through Friday. We're dropping down to 102 by Saturday.
The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Well, welcome back. Each year, their existence, the Junior Firebirds have climbed the ranks and put the Valley on the map. One of the age groups even made it to the state championship game last season. Our Caitlin Kelly was at the Burger Foundation Iceplex earlier today to get more details on the Junior Firebirds tryouts later this week.
Caitlin Kelly here inside the Burger Iceplex, where I'm joined by Terrell Stokes, coach of the Junior Firebirds. It seems sort of unprecedented for such a young program to have so much success. What do you attribute that success to?
I mean, it's the desert. We don't have everything that everybody has. We play against each other a lot. Everybody knows everybody. I think it's more the ability to come together as one and be able to just achieve our goals.
And now, turning the page, we have tryouts this Friday. What are some of the things that you're going to be looking for as you see these kids hit the ice?
I'm looking for kids that are dedicated, committed, want to work hard, and just love to play the game of hockey.
I want to know what it takes to become a Junior Firebird. So what do you say we lace up these skates, we get on the ice, and you show me some of these drills that these kids are going to be doing on Friday. Sound good?
Sounds good. All
right, let's get it done. All right, Terrell, we're on the ice now where the Junior Firebirds are going to be having the very tryouts that we're going to be prepping for right now this coming Friday. Can you show me maybe one or two of the drills that you're going to be conducting with the Junior Firebirds?
Okay, yes, most definitely. You're gonna push. You're gonna push and then pull. There you go.
We did it.
So you're gonna go here, here, here. Okay. Oh no. You got the balance. There you go. Make a C cut with both feet.
That's really, this is hard.
Advance, you can go 1 foot, 1 foot. You'll be able to just turn easy with the ice.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. This Friday, there's tryouts. Are tryouts closed or can people still sign up for that?
People can sign up on the Junior Firebirds websites. We are looking for birth years 2020 to 2008.
Okay.
So you have a wide range of variety of where you could slot into somewhere on our roster.
Well, you heard it from Coach Terrell himself. Tryouts this Friday for the Junior Firebirds. So if you've got some grit, determination, and just want to have some fun inside a nice, cool area like the Burger Iceplex, come on down this Friday, try out for the Junior Firebirds, and we'll see you as you make your push to potentially another state championship.
Yes.
Well, we know the Junior Firebirds practice twice a week and will play 20 regular season games. The Seattle Kraken named a new goalie coach today that may look familiar around the Valley. Colin Zulianello spent the last 3 seasons molding goalies right here in the Valley. Names like Joey Decord and Chris Drieger, and most recently Nike Coco. Zulianello gets the promotion and will join Lane Lambert's staff along with Jessica Campbell, Chris Taylor, who served as an assistant with the New Jersey Devils the last few seasons, and Aaron Schneekloth, who was the head coach of the Colorado Eagles last year. Well, that'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
No, that's not Pedro Pascal who was spotted in New York. It was contestant number 5. George Guantes, a lighting designer for The Daily Show, took home the crown at a Pedro Pascal look-alike contest. He won $50 and a year of free burritos, all thanks to his appearance there, similar to the Mandalorian star. Guantes says his wife and kids cheered him on, and he was overwhelmed by how many people showed up to the contest.
Sony Pictures just dropping a new trailer for the latest installment of the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie franchise. Clip presents a plot line similar to the previous films. A group of young friends cause a deadly car accident, then cover it up, only to be hunted down a year later by a bloodthirsty killer. Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt return to the franchise in this new film, playing older versions of their roles in the original 1997 film. I Know What You Did Last Summer hits theaters July 18th. We'll be right back.
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
All right, brighter side right here. Chief Andy Mills sharing a social media post about a touching act of kindness by Sergeant Miguel Torres. Two high school boys at Chipotle couldn't afford their burritos after realizing there was no special. So as they walked away, Sergeant Torres noticed, quietly paid for their meals. No fanfare, just some kindness. Selfless act shows the true character of those who serve our city. Leaders like Sergeant Torres remind us what leadership and compassion look like.
Very sweet story.
And I think that message was shared on Chief Mills' social media page as well. And he said they didn't want any recognition, like you said, no fanfare. But we always like to take a minute and give a little spotlight where it's deserved, because it's very sweet.
He said the sergeant is not going to be happy with him, but that's okay. This is a moment where you take that heat.
Yes.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. We're back here for the news at 11, so please join us for that. Meantime, we'll send things over to Fred Rogan. He's got the latest tonight with the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
You ever walk up to someone you've never met, you just get a weird feeling, start to itch? You know something? You might be allergic to them, and that is a real thing. So take your Benadryl and get ready to talk about it. Happy Tuesday. Let's start with the story of Mama Gina's, Italian restaurant in El Paseo in Palm Desert. Been around for almost 40 years. Over the weekend, there was a report. The health department found a squirt bottle of urine, dog urine, and downgraded the landmark eatery. Let's welcome on the general manager. Olivia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
All right, so here's the deal. We've gone to Mama Gina's for years. I'll bet you we've eaten there 100 times. We lived in LA, we'd drive out here just to go to Mama Gina's. And never did I ever see anybody walking around with a spray bottle of dog urine. So what is happening? What's going on?
What is happening is that spray bottle, which, by the way, was also referred to as a squirt bottle by the health department, which somehow gives it, you know, even a worse tone to it, personally, was a spray bottle filled with a natural enzyme that you can find online, that one can spray indoors, actually, too. So it's very natural. You can use it on carpet. We were using it outdoors because we had an outdoor dining deck. And unfortunately, pets were going to the bathroom and kind of using our planters that we have there, our front door, for their little bathroom escapade. And so we just decided to use a natural enzyme. And that's what was found in the restaurant.
Okay, if that's the case, if that's the case, why was it reported that they're walking around with dog urine? I mean, I don't think that's the secret ingredient at Mama Gina's. So how did that get reported and why?
That's a great question. I definitely feel that the health department inspector, you know, was careless, in my opinion, was careless, and he chose to omit the word enzyme that is clearly indicated on the spray bottle. So I really don't have an answer other than I was just as shocked as you and everybody else. And I'm hoping, and I know that it will, it'll be rectified, because it's ludicrous.
Well, then, didn't it run in the newspaper?
And then it ran in the newspaper, and
it made it
that
worse.
Was shocking, made it worse. It was just it was unbelievable, to be honest. So I'm trying to find the right words and the correct words. Obviously, I feel that it was just sensationalized, and they made it such a huge headline with the words dog urine in a squirt bottle. And I feel that, considering the severe accusations that were, reported by the health department, I do feel that the journalist should have come forward. I believe she should have reached out to me or come by the restaurant and kind of gotten my side of the story before, writing her story. Not good journalism, in my opinion.
All right. Have you talked to the health department? Did you explain the situation?
I have spoken to them. I did explain to them. And, we are looking for a resolution, and, that should be changed pretty quickly here so that we can lay this to rest and move forward, so that I can just, be able to explain further if I need to all of my, customers, and because that's important. There's been a lot of backlash.
I can imagine. Have you had problems with the health department in the past with inspections?
No, we haven't. I mean, we've been in business for almost 40 years. A few things happen. There are things here and there. For those in the restaurant business, they know how hard it is. We've really always maintained an A and plan to, have that A back.
All right.
Here.
Well, good. Thank you. We can all feel comfortable and safe again. I always feel comfortable and safe, to be honest with you. We go there all the time. But everybody can feel safe in knowing that no one is walking around with a squirt bottle of dog urine at Mama Gina's. Fair?
No, we're here, like I said, 40 years, committed to the community, giving to the community, serving the community that we love. And that's what we continue to do and have always done.
All
so
right.
Thank you.
Olivia, thanks for coming on and clearing it up.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Take care.
To be fair, the health department did find some minor violations, and those are being addressed. Now, we don't talk politics here on the show because we get ourselves into enough trouble, but here is something that caught our eye. There's a bill in Sacramento that would require law enforcement to clearly identify themselves. No face coverings, identification, and clear sight. It is called the No Secret Police Act. The feeling law. Enforcement officers are public servants, and people should be able to see their faces and know who they are. Exceptions would be SWAT, officers wearing wildfire protection masks, and those wearing medical-grade face masks. Contributors on the program tonight, Tammy Bleck, Stephanie Miner. Stephanie, how do you feel about this bill?
I think it's a good bill. We've seen some horrible things playing out on the streets with people with masks, and people don't believe that they are ICE or who they say that they are. So I don't think that this hurts anything. I appreciate that they have the exception for those wearing the fireproof gear, and then also those who are on SWAT. But I think it's a good thing.
Tammy?
This is very close to my heart. I think that authority comes with accountability. They have always been unmasked. I'm a LA girl born and raised. Would you pull over to someone who's masked? And if, by the way, if you are afraid to do your job or you are ashamed to do your job, you should find another job. This isn't the 1940s.
Well, the legislation would require clear identification through uniforms, name tags, or badge numbers. Tammy, what do you think about that?
I think it absolutely, we have a right to identify who is doing what to us. We may not have a right to stop it for whatever reason, but we have a right to know who you are. And if you are not willing to do that, you should do something else.
Stephanie?
I agree 100% with Tammy on this, for sure.
Okay, well, here's the thing. So I came from a law enforcement family. My brother-in-law, late father-in-law were both LAPD. How are police officers supposed to work undercover? And a lot of what they do in trying to figure things out is working undercover. But if you have to clearly identify yourself at all times, well, how are you supposed to do that?
That's different though, Fred, don't you think?
Yeah, but that wasn't, yeah, that's fair. No.
Okay.
You're right, Tammy. You're right. But that wasn't specified in their guidelines.
Well, then you are right. They should specify it. What do you think, Stephanie?
And they will have to. I mean, of course people can work undercover. There's no way that they can't. To me, this was specifically addressing masks, which is a big problem right now.
Okay. We live in the digital age, and it's easy to identify and even threaten people. Keep that in mind. Last night, good neighbor Brian was looking to get some trees trimmed and didn't know where to turn. Viewer known as Only M wrote us, watching your show tonight, and wanted to recommend the best tree trimmer we have experienced in this valley. It is Victor at Montanella Landscaping Service. Professional, reliable, reasonable, and a pleasure to work with. There you go. It's just that easy to be a good neighbor. Trisha Indian Wells needs some recommendations for a rancho or hacienda type venue for a party in January for 60 guests. It must include line dancing. Lindsay in La Quinta is wondering, How much people in the Valley pay for teeth cleaning without insurance? And where's the best place to get it done? Palm Desert, Mark is looking to take a Zumba class. Where should he shimmy off to? And Carrie in Bermuda Dunes found a female German Shepherd puppy in Indio near 48th and Oasis Street. Is anybody missing her?
We're in the desert. Give us your hot take. Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan.
You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com. Don't desert us in the desert.
I don't know, maybe you're just allergic to other people. Aside from me, you ever see anybody that makes your skin crawl? Just the sight of them gives you the creeps. They don't even have to say a word, and they make you uneasy. You might be allergic to them, and I'm dead serious. Some people are physically allergic to other people, and even worse. Others cause people to have an allergic reaction whenever they come in contact with them. You walk up to someone, and suddenly you start to develop allergy-type symptoms such as coughing and choking in their presence. Tammy, you ever heard of this?
I've never heard of it, but I'm going to confess that I prefer the company of cats, dogs, and books over most people. And I have confessed also that sometimes I spend a couple minutes with people and my eye starts to twitch. But can you even imagine? My heart goes out to people how do you navigate the world, relationships, work? I mean, what's your take on this, Stephanie?
Well, I actually know somebody, the girl who lived next to me in my college dorm became allergic to her boyfriend and they had to break up. It was so bizarre, so weird. This was back in the 90s, so it took a long time to figure out. I feel really bad for people that are in this situation.
Wait a minute. She became allergic and had to break up?
Yes.
What were her symptoms?
Yes.
What happened with her?
Well, why, Fred? I knew you were going to do this if I told the truth. So, in college, you're in love, you do some stuff. And after that, that's when she found out she was allergic to him. And then he refused to do the responsible thing. So they had to break up. Now you've humiliated me on TV.
Oh, okay. Well,
It wasn't you, Stephanie.
No, it wasn't you. And here's the other thing. Maybe she wasn't allergic.
It was the truth. It was the most bizarre thing that we had ever seen. And I still think about it sometimes.
Maybe she wasn't allergic. Maybe she just didn't.
Was.
No,
she
maybe
was.
she just didn't
An
think it was
ambulance had
very
to get
good.
her.
Maybe she didn't like it. Maybe that was the issue, Stephanie.
Loved him. She loved him.
Oh, okay. All right. So neither one of you allergic to anyone?
No. Well, I'd like to think that I am allergic to stupid, and so there's that.
I don't know. One night, Stephanie and I actually ran into each other. She saw me. She started coughing and sweating. So I thought you were allergic to me at that point.
And my nose was bleeding, remember?
Oh, I see. There it is. That was on
That's
me.
why I gave it to you. It's very hot outside.
All right. See you guys later. Sometimes the littlest things mean the most. People love our daily dose of cuteness because they are fascinated by animals. And we love our partnership with the Living Desert and our pal, Alan Monroe. He joins us now. Another sparkling selection from the Alan Monroe collection. So, Alan, this is your what jacket?
Well, this is my summer season, you know. Light colors just makes you think that it's cool outside even when it's not.
By the way, do the animals ever sweat at the zoo?
Some do. Some have sweat glands just the same way as you and I do. Or they get off excess heat by perspiring really rapidly. Birds especially. Think about pelicans, you know, they flap that little skin around their neck, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what they're doing, is they're keeping their blood cool. And
do you ever give the animals popsicles? Are they misters, anything like that?
We try to make sure our animals have the best possible welfare. So even though they're adapted to desert environments, they're perfectly fine out there when it's in the hundreds plus. We do give them some things like shade, make sure they have access to water at all times, misters, swamp coolers in a few spots. And then occasionally we'll throw in some summer fun time treats like bloodsickles, you know. Some of our big cats will take a frozen popsicle that has some blood mixed in it, and they'll just sit there and lick that like a kid all day long as it drools down their chin.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, that sounds absolutely disgusting.
If you were a mountain lion, you would love it.
All right, so last night we had Jen on. She's representing the Living Desert in Mongolia on the conservation project. So can you fill us in?
Absolutely. So the Living Desert has conservations all around the world, projects all around the world. And right now we're focusing on in Iknart, Mongolia. It's in the upper northern regions of the Gobi Desert, but it is a high desert. So right now the weather there is just perfect. It's like our winters. Highs in the 70s. So if you want to go to Mongolia, now's the time. And we work with this local community in the Iknart Nature Reserve to help provide biological reasons that they can support their animals. There's some critically endangered species there, like the Argali sheep, only 5,000 of them left in the world. And so we work with local biologists to do basic field research. And then we talk to the local people so they understand what a beautiful place they live in and how they can make simple changes to their livelihood and still be able to graze their goats and their sheep and make sure there's still habitat available for the critically endangered species that live there.
Do you ever try, for example, with the sheep, to bring any of them here to the Living Desert?
In this case, the Argali sheep, they like that cold temperature. So highs in the 70s and lows in the -40s is where they live. And so they're very similar to our bighorn sheep here in terms of their habitat and where they live, but they like it cold desert.
Hey, so Alan, I saw a bighorn sheep, and I thought, this thing's going to charge me. Are bighorn sheep going to charge me?
They could be defensive if there's a male and he's got some females around and he wanted to make sure that no one gets too close to his female. So it's not unheard of for there to be some aggressive posturing.
So when I was in Los Angeles, I did this football show, and the LA Rams had just moved back. And I thought this would be a great idea to bring a ram into the studio, a live ram. So we called the zoo, the LA Zoo, and we said, we'd like you to bring a ram. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. And I went, why not? They said, why do you think they call it a ram?
They are incredibly strong animals, and when they want something, that's what they get. They can make sure their feelings are known about whether they want to be in the studio or not.
Yeah, well, they thought the ram would destroy the studio.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't be for not good for the studio, and it's not good for the ram.
No, okay, all right. Well, thank you as always for coming in. Great stuff, and update us on what's going on in Mongolia.
Absolutely. We'll be there all summer. We send a new set of crew over there every couple of weeks, send our biologists, our educators, our conservationists, our botanists, so that we can provide technical skills and abilities to help the Mongolians move their conservation projects forward.
Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
All right, our thanks to Alan. The dog days of summer are upon us. Chloe is here with super weather to give us some encouraging words about the heat.
No, and no.
You know, I can't help falling in love and shouting Viva Palm Springs.
Riddle me this. What has a bed but never sleeps?
So this is a structure which has housed many tenants, but is best remembered as the honeymoon hideaway for Elvis and Priscilla Presley following their Las Vegas wedding in 1967. Here's NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Summerall.
They just liked Palm Springs so much that he bought the house on Chino Canyon.
The Juergens family, famous for their line of bathroom products, hired renowned architect Albert Frey to build the Spanish colonial home on West Chino Canyon in 1946. Elvis owned this house from 1970 to 1977.
And then Elvis had a big section added to it, 1,500, 2,000 square feet added to it. That's the jungle room and an additional suite.
The suite for Priscilla and baby Lisa Marie, and Elvis and his entourage would party in the jungle room.
But that was the beginning of the end for his relationship with her. And in the end, they ended up divorcing while he owned the house, but he owned it another handful of years or more. And it became his party house here in Palm Springs.
But there was a price to pay for Elvis's behavior in his party house.
He would sometimes shoot out his television, and it's rumored that it was Robert Goulet on it.
And sometimes that price had to be paid to a man named Ken Parker.
And Ken owned Hallmark TV, which in the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s was the place to buy a TV in Palm Springs. Ken would get a phone call from whoever in Elvis's group was making the calls that night. Hey, Elvis shut out the TVs again. We need to come by and pick up 2 or 3. Is it okay? And Ken would go down to his shop at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning and open it up. And Elvis would show up with a couple of carloads of guys and pick out the TV, load it onto Ken's truck, and Ken would go up to the Elvis's home on Chino Canyon and install the TVs and then go back home.
Well, that's showbiz. For Desert in a Minute, this is NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Summerall.
Every time Steve is on, we learn something new about the Coachella Valley. Your daily dose of cuteness when we return.
Was presented by the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens.
What has a bed but never sleeps? A river.
Solid. All right, last night, another 26 Starlink satellites launched out of Vandenberg around 8:30. Our viewers were there to see it, shoot it, and send it. Take a gander. Doesn't it look great? Want to thank our viewers Doug, Robert, Carl, Pamela, and producer Gianna for taking those amazing shots. All right, comments. We talk a lot about animal services, urge people to adopt and foster. Marlena brings up a pretty good point. She says seniors on a fixed income would love to adopt, but many can't because they can't afford it on their budget. Most can't afford pet insurance. My friend and I discuss this all the time. If we could provide assistance, more animals could be adopted. Maybe they could give a discount to people trying to adopt if you're a senior out at the shelter. Last night, we explained the mystery of the brick wall in Cat City. Charlton, who asked us to look into it, sent this. Hi, Fred. Thank you for looking into the wall in Cat City. I appreciate you. Remember, NBC Palm Springs never works. We're going to be up all night because we work 24/7. There it is, the show page on the website, The Rogan Report. Get to it. Check out what we have up there tonight and our content from past shows as well. Tomorrow will be a very big day here on the program. CVUSD will have its hearing in front of the State Audit Committee in Sacramento, and we'll have what happens for you. Wheel of Fortune is next.